Stretch your Cumberpatch, boy.
Oh, and we're back with another episode of Buns and Tubs, comrades.
Man. Back in the studio.
Yeah, oh my god, does it feel great to be in here again?
It does.
Don't have to worry about my my challenged cat or the ambient sounds that my house makes during the day.
Yeah.
Now it's just the clicking sounds and the banging sounds of us grabbing things off the table and back to the old way.
Yeah, the way it should be.
Way.
This is where we will grind out our fortune.
Yeah.
I like to think if I didn't delete most of the silence in our conversations, that we could take it all, compile it, and listen to it amplified, and you just hear dead children laughing. And
yeah, as I say, or we could use it as the soundtrack for a horror movie. But today's episode, we're gonna cover a couple things, but
back in the darkness.
Yeah, the main theme of today is gonna be basically the excessive amounts of people working for the federal and state and local governments who seem to catch themselves in
getting caught up
situations involving children.
Yeah,
i.e., child sex trafficking and whatnot. I know you've heard us talk about this time and time again, but I feel like this is concurrent with what's going on right now.
Before we get into all these things, I spent a good part of this morning sending Tubbs here a bunch of scandalous fucking news links.
The first one you sent me was fucking crazy.
I've got it right here. Well, before we get into that, I want to give the shout out before I forget. We've got a cross promotion this week.
Ooh.
With another gamer.
Oh yeah.
This guy, we all love art and everything.
Yeah.
But this guy, he's the real fucking deal when it comes to Battlefield.
Oh yeah.
I was watching one of his videos. Now keep in mind, the difference between playing a video game on a computer versus a console.
Yeah, yeah.
Each has their ups and downs, positives and negatives. Well, I've always found that console gaming is hard as fuck when it comes to accuracy, first person shooter.
Yeah.
This dude, Search Shot 1.
That's just me, everybody, lightly sucking on my pipe.
Here we go. Search Shot 1. Now, to find it, it's SICR. To find it, it's SIRCH _ SHOT _ the number 1 ST. Search Shot First. He is on. I convinced him to make a YouTube channel, so he's on YouTube now. He's also got a Twitch. Search Shot First. This dude's a fucking savage. He's got a clip. He said he was the number 1 in Battlefield of sniper, number 1 Battlefield sniper on console.
Yeah,
I believe it's PlayStation. This motherfucker. There's a video where he's sitting prone and he's looking out over a field, and he's got his sniper scope up, or not the scope, but the spotter scope.
Yeah.
And he sees this guy running, goes to pull up the gun. As he narrows in on a headshot on this dude, there's a guy dropping into the map on a parachute. He almost lined up double headshot. Completely accidentally. But he killed one and maimed the other.
Nice.
But yeah, check out Search Shot First on Twitch. Check him out on, I believe he's making all the socials, but right now he's just on Twitch and on YouTube. But he's got big moving and shaking going. So
impressive.
Check him out.
Yeah, go check him out. That'll be good.
I love some entertainment. He's also, I talked him into getting a Patreon going. And he said he's going to do a drunk stream.
Oh, nice.
Where he just gets smashed. And
yeah, here, we'll play this game now.
Yeah.
You should go watch me.
Be good entertainment for you while you're taking a poop.
Listen, you know that you have a dedicated audience if they're willing to watch you play something drunk.
Yeah.
Or do anything, whatever you're doing, whatever you're honing your craft or whatever. If they're able to listen to you do it or watch you do it drunk, that means they're dedicated.
I remember back in the day when we were in high school, or not even now, it was after high school, we graduated, we would go over to Adams and we would land, get drunk or what have you. And then the one time, I think it was you and I went out in the driveway and vibed in some jazz cabbage.
Yeah.
And I was so fucked up when we got done that I felt like I had to be carried in. I was a paraplegic without a wheelchair, and you guys had to carry me in and put me down in the chair. And that was my idiot savant moment where I just could not be stopped.
Oh, definitely.
But anyway, memories.
Yeah.
You know. Mm-hmm. And before we get into the news again, we've got another hiccup here. We're doing a Bones and Tubs t-shirt giveaway. The partnership from @Infidel Custom on Facebook. Check them out, like them, whatever you want to do. They make premium quality.
Premium quality shirts.
Premium. I'm sure you've seen them. They're on our Instagram. They might be Facebook too. But
yeah.
We're giving away a select number of these t-shirts. And we only require 2 things from you in order to be entered in this giveaway.
Ooh.
We want you to go to the iTunes. We want you to search the Bones and Tubs.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to 5-star that motherfucker. Give us a 5-star review. Let us know.
Send us evidence.
Yeah, you got to screenshot it. Screenshot the review to our email, bonesandtubs@gmail.com. Do that.
And then you will be entered in sweepstakes for t-shirts.
The other thing I'd really like is if you added us on YouTube.
That'd be nice too.
Screenshot that song, bitch.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Go do those things. 5-star review on iTunes. Screenshot it. Subscribe on YouTube.
It is premium easy.
We're going to be doing this, we'd say a week. Weekly giveaway. I'll put out a video on all the socials. And then we will assign each of your emails a number. Then we will do random number generator.
Yeah.
It's fair. You know, and we will send you a free t-shirt. And I'm probably going to throw bumper stickers in there too, because I'm generous as fuck.
I like your t-shirt today, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lady Bones bought it for me.
That's nice.
You want to tell them what it says?
It says National Sarcastic Society.
And it looks like the National Geographic logo.
Yeah. And then it says, like, we need your support.
Yeah. It's a premium.
But, and, you know, of course, today I decided to dress up in a costume as a cabana boy.
When you opened the door, I thought I went back in time to, like, the 1980s, and you were about to serve me a drink.
Yeah.
And then later on, we would go up to our hotel room.
I feel like it's a la Philip Seymour Hoffman in Boogie Nights, especially since it's a little bit tight. It's a tighter tank top.
Yeah,
you know, minus the bike shorts. You know, the coach's shorts.
Do you have those?
I don't. I used to actually have a couple pairs that were hand-me-downs.
I make a prediction that you somehow wore the crotch out of them and had to be thrown away.
You can't wear the crotch out of bike shorts.
You sure?
It's impossible. They're made of such a heavy synthetic fiber.
Thick.
It's impossible to wear the. Basically, what ends up happening is the seams bust before any actual wear and tear begins. Mm-hmm. Because they can only hold so much thunder back. Yeah. You know what I mean? In fact, most of the time, your thunder's already spilling out of them. So, you know, there is that. I believe bike shorts. If anybody out there knows what I'm talking about, not actual bicycle shorts like people wear today, but bike shorts, you know, coaches shorts. Coaches used to wear back in the day that revealed scantal parts of men's thighs. Yeah. I
don't think you can get away with that shit anymore.
No, maybe. Probably not. But, you know, they were the male equivalent of, say, a support of a support bra or a, push-up bra, I believe, because they were very scantily for a man to wear. Yeah. Like, well, they didn't think that back then, but if I were to wear some now, if I went today to pick up my son from school wearing this tank top and a pair of bike shorts...
You might be the same type of person we're talking about today.
Yeah.
I would profile you.
And I would understand your profiling. I'm surprised I didn't get profiled this morning when I dropped him off wearing this tank top. Yeah. For real.
You're on a list.
But I don't really care. I was like, it's tank top kind of day. It's cabana tubs kind of day. You know?
I'm not upset.
It happens.
It does. It's got to be done.
But today, we're talking about all that nasty stuff going on with our government employees. They are our government employees. Technically, they do work for us.
Yeah. We actually pay them an exorbitant amount of money to stay in office for life, not do anything except fuck our children. Or trade pictures of said children that are in various stages.
I mean, we allow them to create these networks to allow them to do that in the first place. You know, networking, synergy.
That's what happens when you're asleep at the wheel as an American citizen. Yeah. You know, or let's take patriotism out of it. Let's just say a human being. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll shock you awake. That's what we're here to do at the Bones and Tubs podcast. Yeah. You know. Do you want to go through the articles first, or do you want to go through the Catholic Church first?
You know what? Let's start with the Catholic Church because I think that's what kind of started it, right? That's what prompted it today. So the Catholic Church,
QAnon firebomb, you think?
And boys and boy loving,
yeah,
and well, child loving, I should say. I don't know if it generally extends to just boys or not, but that is something that's been going on for a long time. This isn't anything new. This is, in fact, I would go on to say, at least newer history.
Yes.
Yes. Be in the back of the history textbook. Almost concurrent to current events. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Considering how like just open knowledge of these events have been known. You get what I'm saying? It's not anything new by any means.
No, but they've been caught and called out a number of times before, and they always make it sound like, oh well, we're done with this shit. We're kicking it out now. We're not gonna allow this to happen anymore.
But basically, just to anybody that isn't hip to the whole thing, and I think just to give you a heads up. So basically, it's almost 20 years ago that it really busted open.
Yeah.
Basically came out that for decades, the Catholic Church had been systematically hiding child predators amongst their ranks. And the way they would do it was if, say, a local priest was caught diddling children,
mm-hmm.
instead of, handing him over to the proper authorities, which they were supposed to do,
yeah,
they would simply move him to another area.
Right. I posted last night on our Facebook page the Louis C.K. stand-up. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Where he's talking about, I'm trying to find out the history of the Catholic Church, and he just comes to find out that they exist solely for fucking children. They go to the basement where there's, it looks like a 911 dispatch. Mm-hmm. It's, all dark, and they've got, monitors, and priests are all sitting around on phones with headsets. You are clear to rape a male child in Sector 3, copy. And then they're talking about moving them around just like that. I mean, it's funny, not funny.
No.
But it's true.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
But no, it's basically they were moving them around from place to place and kind of more or less giving them free license to continue to do what they did.
For decades.
Without any punishment. For decades.
Most of these priests, or some of these priests in this report, are dead.
Yeah. But, and this broke about 20 years ago. Now, after this happened, after it broke.
Yeah. Sorry, move forward.
It sent Catholicism, at least in the United States, into a fucking tailspin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they tried to say, well, okay, no, these priests are going to be brought to justice and da-da-da-da. Well, these priests should have been brought to justice when they did it originally, not, 20, 30 years down the road.
Yeah.
But, and they said they were going to take care of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, lo and behold, last week, story breaks. The same old fucking story. You find out that fucking priests, lots of them, have been diddling children for the last 20 years after the story broke, and they were doing the same exact fucking thing that they did before.
So it never stopped.
It never stopped.
Cute.
So you have this large organization, and you have individuals. We're talking about, okay, so in the grand scheme of things, so you have priest, bishop, cardinal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now cardinals are just I think bishops and cardinals are kind of the same thing, but cardinals are more higher up, right?
Right.
Okay, so at the very least you have people at the highest, and these cardinals are the ones that are also the College of Cardinals at the Vatican.
Mm-hmm. You
have these individuals who are basically the Catholic equivalent of Congress or Parliament, what have you.
Yeah.
Knowing about this and actively helping these individuals seek shelter in other parishes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's for that to be said means that it's happening at the highest levels of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have an organization who basically has been peddling in children for years amongst themselves without any oversight to that, right?
Right.
Now, that's just one organization.
This ties all together, though.
Yeah, because we're going to take it into a different realm, not just Catholicism.
I just noticed this. I'm looking back for the QAnon post about the Catholic Church right as this broke.
Yeah.
And you remember how if you go to the QAnon.app or QAnon.app, it lists all of QAnon's posts as they're posted, and I can't find the actual church one. I have to keep looking, but where they showed you, I think I sent this to you. It was the Podesta art, and they found this. This is in Rome. So the Podesta art of the children in stress positions, that has to have Vatican ties if it's in Rome, doesn't it?
I'd imagine. So what you're implicating, I believe, is that more or less these are they're like sex clubs. Ninth
Circle child sex cult.
Yeah. But is it one cult or is it many?
I don't know.
See, I think it's different. You got to think of it like clubs, right?
Yeah.
So, like, you have the Vatican Club, the Catholic Club, right? But then outside of that, I think you have different groups. Different clubs, same. It's like the Legion and the Lions Club, you know?
Right.
They both kind of are about the same thing. They're about community outreach, and
I think they all fall under the umbrella, though, of the dark occult. You know what I mean? At least at that level.
Yeah.
The QAnon post was QAnon post 1879. It was posted August 14, 2018. And it links to the Fox News story of the findings, the report of the Catholic Church, which we'll get into. And it just says, House of God, ? Only the beginning. Those who you are taught to trust the most. Expect many, many, many similar reports to surface from around the world. It goes a lot deeper. Connected. The choice to know will be yours. Love you, Q.
Bye.
Bye. Right, bitch. Wrong fucking day. Should we read the report, you think, for posterity? It's all about posterity. Now, the article, if you haven't seen it, if you're living successfully under a rock, as I've tried to do a number of times and completely avoid media, the news story is titled, Stunning Findings on Report of Catholic Church Abuse. Pennsylvania, right? PA. Priest molested more than 1,000 children. And it's Robert Mizik, 47, watching a news conference on the grand jury report investigating sexual abuse within the Catholic Church in Pennsylvania at his home on Tuesday. Mizik says he was abused by his parish priest at a Catholic church in suburban Philadelphia 35 years ago. Hundreds of priests were said to have been molesting more than 1,000 children, and possibly many more since the 1940s, and senior church officials, including a man who is now the Archbishop of Washington, D.C., allegedly covered up the abuse, according to a grand jury report released Tuesday. Varied forms of abuse. Let's see. Most of the Pennsylvania victims were boys, but girls were abused also, the report said. The abuse ranged from groping to masturbation to anal, oral, and vaginal rape. One boy was forced to say a confession to the priest who sexually abused him. A 9-year-old boy was forced to perform oral sex and then had his mouth washed out with holy water. Fuck off.
Jesus wept.
So anyway, I'm done reading that. You guys can go find it on Google. That was the title, and fuck around, get upset.
Yeah.
So yeah, you go ahead and I'll look up the letter from the Pope.
So, that being said, with all this going on, I saw a funny meme the other day that said, basically, it was a meme of the Pope. It said, we're gonna talk about the sex scandal, but first, let me finish talking about climate change.
Oh shit! Right? I mean,
like, no, this should take front seat.
But that's, I mean, that's true. He's busy. He probably doesn't know about all the child rape because he's too busy going around doing politician shit, talking about fucking climate control or climate change and all that.
Trying to get some new recruits, I guess.
Globalist fuck puppet. Dressed like a fucking magician with your gold robes and your fucking priest mobile.
Yeah.
Gold and your child rape.
Fucking gold fucking palace, you piece of shit.
If you go back on our Instagram feed, you'll find a picture of us, Bones and Tubbs, in suits when we sat for the Iceman's wedding.
Yeah.
And we were there to honor him and, you know, enjoy the matrimony and all that, but we also had a healthy amount of fucking wreck on these Catholic priests.
Yeah.
It's 2018, right? 2017?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Whatever it was.
Somewhere around then.
And they were still dressing like magicians, and they had that altar boy up there. Fuck off.
We know what it's about.
Now, I'm going to read the letter from Pope Francis, Now, this is the first time, allegedly, that he's written a letter to all Catholics, not just a specific group of Catholics or a specific country, but this is the first time, because they are shitting in their pants.
Yeah.
They did not expect all this to come out. And they suffer from a large amount of fear that they're not going to get any more of that paper, because people are leaving the church over this shit. But anyway, here's a letter from His Holiness Pope Francis to the people of God. If one member suffers, all suffer together with it. 1 Corinthians 12:26. These words of St. Paul forcefully echo in my heart as I acknowledge once more the suffering endured by many minors due to sexual abuse, the abuse of power, and the abuse of conscience perpetrated by a significant number of clerics and consecrated persons. Crimes that inflict deep wounds of pain and powerlessness primarily among the victims, but also in their family members and in the larger community of believers and non-believers alike. Looking back to the past, no effort to beg pardon and to seek to repair the harm done will ever be sufficient. Looking ahead to the future, no effort must be spared to create a culture able to prevent such situations from happening, but also to prevent the possibility of being covered up and perpetrated. The pain of the victims and their families is also our pain, and so it is urgent that we once more reaffirm our commitment to ensure protection of minors and vulnerable adults. If one member suffers, in recent days, a report was made public which detailed the experiences of at least 1,000 survivors, victims of sexual abuse, the abuse of power and of conscience at the hands of priests over a period of approximately 70 years. Even though it can be said that most of the cases belong in the past, nonetheless, as time goes on, we have to come to know the pain of many victims. We have realized that the wounds never disappear, and they will require us to forcefully condemn these atrocities and join forces in uprooting this culture of death. These wounds never go away. The heart-wrenching pain of these victims which cry out to heaven was long ignored, kept quiet, or silenced. But their outcry was more powerful than all the measures meant to silence it, or sought even to resolve it by decisions that increased its gravity by falling into complicity. The Lord heard that cry and once again showed us on which side he stands. Mary's song is not mistaken. It continues quietly to echo throughout history. For the Lord remembers the promise he made to our fathers. He has scattered the proud in their conceit. He has cast down the mighty from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. He has filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he has sent away empty. Luke 1:51-53. We feel shame when we realize that our style of life has denied, and continues to deny, the words we recite. With shame and repentance, we acknowledge as an ecclesiastical community that we were not where we should have been, that we did not act in a timely manner, realizing the no shit fucker, it's 70 years. Sorry. Little bones addition in there. Realizing the magnitude and the gravity to the damage done to so many lives, we showed no care for the little ones. We abandoned them. I make my own the words of the then Cardinal Ratzinger when, during the Way of the Cross composed for Good Friday 2005, he identified with the cry of pain of so many victims and exclaimed, "How much filth there is in the Catholic Church, and even among those who, in the priesthood, ought to belong entirely to Christ. How much pride, how much self-complacency. Christ's betrayal by his disciples, their unworthy reception of his body and blood is certainly the greatest suffering endured by the Redeemer. It pierces his heart. We can only call to him from the depths of our hearts." It just keeps going. Anyway, I'm not reading any more of this. If you want to find it, it's a Washington Post article titled "Read the Pope's Letter to the Faithful on Abuse in the Catholic Church."
So I had to show him something real quick. It was completely unrelated, but I saw it and I was like, I had to show it to him.
Yeah. So here's something that I want to do, a call to action to the Catholics, if there are any that listen. I don't know if there are, because I've talked reckless about Catholics for a while.
I got Catholic family, so you know.
But tell me what you think about this call to action. And you wouldn't even have to stop going to church if you thought the Catholic way was the way, right?
Yeah.
You know what you do? When that collection plate comes around, you don't put any fucking money in that bitch.
No.
And you
Why would you?
Right. Stop feeding the beast. It's the same thing I echo all the time about government corporate corruption. Mm-hmm. Stop paying them.
Yeah.
This has been the Bones and Dubs podcast.
Your money to them is
the lifeblood of their fuck machine.
Yeah, and you're basically you're acknowledging their crime and you're accepting it.
Complicit.
There you go.
Silence is compliance.
Mm-hmm. By paying them, you're giving them money. It's the same thing with any corporation. Unfortunately, no corporation can send men after you to kill you if you don't buy their product, but the government can do that.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's theft.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I learned from the documentary by Louis C.K. was that the reason why they do all this and they're so thorough with the children is for purity.
Oh, okay.
Now, the boys, okay, have purity inside them because they're pure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the priest has sex with the child, he absorbs the purity.
Oh, okay.
And once they're done, they just send the boy away. And then the next time the priest takes a shit, he shits out a purity brick.
Mm.
It's just like a brick of pure purity.
Yeah.
Then they throw it into a paper mill, and that's how all the Bibles are made.
Oh, okay. I see.
Documentaries.
That is an amazing process.
Right.
I wonder how they came to that conclusion.
Louis C.K.'s like, now do you rape every boy in the Catholic Church? And he's like, let me ask you a question. Did you go to Catholic church as a child? And he's like, yeah. And were you raped in the ass or mouth by a priest? And he's like, I don't think so. And the priest looks at him, like raises his eyebrows, and he's like, no, wait, I was. Yeah. And he's like, we're very thorough. And then you look back and he's like laughing, but there's tears coming down his face.
That's funny. Not funny.
But it's funny because it's not funny.
Yeah. So basically, that was kind of a preamble to getting into what I believe should be considered the next scandal, other than the Catholic Church, because in my eyes, it's almost old news.
I say we break it all at the same time, and I think that's why I've tied this with the QAnon. I think it's all coming out.
So, okay, and anybody out, and like I said, Bones of Tubs, we've always been about, we don't give you all the facts, but we give you, we don't steer you wrong.
If our genitals were truth, we're the proverbial flashers.
Yeah.
We're wearing the raincoats. Or what are they?
I think a trench coat.
A trench coat. That's right. So we're both in trench coats, and we're just trying to go and appease the audience, and then we're like, "Look at our truth!"
Yeah.
And we shake the truth at them, and then we run away.
Yeah. More or less for the last 6 years, under the current of the mainstream, right?
Yes.
It has been out there, but not in a big sense. But basically, this whole it just doesn't go. It doesn't run through the Catholic Church. It runs through, unfortunately, through our federal, state, and local governments. This stream of silence involving pedophilia and child sex slavery and child trafficking, for that matter, as well.
Yeah.
An article was sent to me this morning by my partner,
Mr. Bones.
Yes, Mr. Bones, who he showed me this article. And I don't even know if it was an article. It was more just like a list of people high up in the government who have been caught with children. Like, and it's huge. And it spans all different branches of the government. We're talking about the FBI, CIA, DEA,
Homeland
Security, ICE, TSA, fucking everybody.
Yeah. Now, I know I wouldn't say a long time ago, but time's funny nowadays, so I'm not sure how long. But that article he's talking about, I started doing the work that I promised you all of the Bones and Tubs Nation I would do. But due to my own anger issues, every time I tried to pick this book up, I threw it.
Yeah.
Okay, the book is titled Epidemic, America's Trade in Child Rape, and it's written by Lori Handerhan, Ph.D. So this article that I sent him was one that she wrote. It was a report, and this all happened around the time of, 2015?
Yeah. Yeah, 2015.
Now, for anybody that wants to read it for themselves, I posted it on the Facebook page. However, you can find it by Googling State Department Dan Rosen's arrest, cheat sheet for journos. And she goes on to talk about like how she put all this report together of all these different people in the federal government getting caught with child porn, trading it on computers in government offices on work days, pretty much, because it's just so pervasive. So she put this report together after this dude got arrested because the media wasn't talking about it at all. So she got something like, it was a decent amount of shares originally, but then shortly after it had been out there in the ether for a while, the whole Pizzagate scandal thing popped off. Mm-hmm. And then everybody stumbled over her article, and it got retarded amounts of shares. Yeah. Something like 9,000 the first couple hours.
Huh.
So it's been out there for a while. But just a few highlights from this article. Acting Director of Cybersecurity at the Department of Health and Human Services, Timothy DeFoge, age 56, was sentenced January 2015 to 25 years in federal prison for participating in a child pornography ring that sources say was so depraved it even shocked veteran investigators. DeFoge was a registered user of an online child rape and torture, aka child porn trading site. DeFoge expressed interest in the violent rape and murder of children. Former Undersecretary of the Navy, 70-year-old James Daniel Howard, arrested on child porn possession and reproduction charges in 2013. Howard had served as special assistant to President Ronald Reagan. He pled guilty to 10 child porn counts and served only 7 months in jail. Jesus. Joint Strike Fighter Program Navy officer Bruce Babchick, arrested in 2014 for downloading hundreds of gigabytes of young girls and bestiality on government computers. He received a 1-year sentence. Anthony Mangione, 50-year-old director of immigration and customs. Jesus Christ, yeah. ICE. For South Florida, was arrested on extreme child abuse charges on 28 September 2011. He was sentenced November 2012 to nearly 6 years in prison.
Let's put it this way. One of the things that struck me while I was reading this was they talked about Maine's Governor Paul LePage.
Mm-hmm.
LePage realized that this was a fucking problem. Yeah. And apparently he's not in on the scheme because
he's not on the dole.
He made an executive order in February of 2015 prohibiting Maine state employees from accessing pornographic or sexually explicit material on both state computers or devices, even when they were off duty on personal time. So he realized that, I mean, here's the thing, that's a gross oversight of fucking privacy.
For sure.
But, I mean, fuck, man, when you got people in your own fucking staff getting hemmed up on fucking child porn and shit like that, what are you going to do?
Here's one that really fucks with me because I've said this for years. It just seems to make sense. You've probably heard me on the podcast talk shit about Child Protective Services. I know Tubbs has. Mm-hmm. This Mangione fellow was a 1982 graduate of the University of Maine, where former Senior Child Protective Services Cynthia Wellman claimed at the time CPS was operating a child sex ring on campus with UMO's involvement. Little is known, blah, blah, blah. But it only makes sense. That's one of those institutions similar to the Catholic Church where you get that power over a child, and that's going to be like a magnet to these fucks.
Yeah.
Where you give them a badge and a gun to take people's kids away.
An organization specifically designed to help children that are in need being used as a means to traffic children.
Yeah.
So the one thing that it was supposed to do, it didn't do. In fact, it did the exact opposite of that.
Now, do you have this article pulled up?
Yes.
Would you like to just piggyback? Like, I'll read a name and a description, and then you read one, or you want me to just go through it? The power of primatine.
We could do that, yeah.
I'm down at David Bourque.
Okay, and like I said before, this goes down to, like, local government and stuff like that, too.
Oh, it's every single branch.
Every facet of your government in action, right? So, David Bourque, formerly the 51-year-old police captain of Granby, Connecticut, was sentenced to 10 years for child porn possession and distribution. An individual that was supposed to be protecting his community was caught, he was caught 328,528 images and 4,000 videos on his police department computer. Yeah. For fuck's sake.
What's he got at home if he's blatantly doing this shit at work?
So he's like, he fucking comes into work. Hey, how's it going? He looks through the fucking reports and he's like, all right, well,
time to watch child porn.
I'm going to go in my office for the next 45 minutes. Nobody come in there. I'm going to turn off the lights and close the blinds. Everybody just don't disturb me.
Yeah.
And they all wonder why he has an industrial-sized bottle of Vaseline on his goddamn desk.
Piece of shit.
What a fucking turd, man. They should have hung him up by his fucking toes.
It's not even just like, and I guess you can't categorize anything like a regular child porn, but this just, it says it was
sadistic and violent acts against infants and toddlers. Where are they here? Okay, I got a fucking question.
Bitch.
Where the fuck, even deeper question, where the fuck are they getting all these images in the first place? Like, seriously, where are these being generated from?
This is what she's talking about in the book, is that most of the child pornography, the craziest of it all, is filmed or created in the United States. It's like an epidemic that we create and trade. It might be another country, too, that mostly comes out of, but we are like the number one trader of this shit.
Jesus. I don't even want to say some of the most disturbing, because they talk about some of the most disturbing images that they found on this dude's computer.
Yeah, I can't.
It's fucking terrible. I'm not saying it. I'm not going to say it on my show.
Let's switch to Army prosecutor and judge advocate Daniel
Wolverton.
Father of 2, convicted in 2011 for infant sodomy and possession of over 30,000 images and 1,000 videos of brutal child sex abuse, including that of a 3-month-old. Fucking bitch. You want the next one?
Yeah. Main Assistant Attorney General. So basically, fourth in command of the state. This is probably why Paul Lepage did what he did. Was sentenced to over 15 years in prison, December 2014, for 7 counts of child porn possession, receipt, and transmission. Cameron, widely recognized as Maine's top drug prosecutor, had been trading in PTHC.
God damn.
I didn't even know what that was. No. Preteen hardcore. I wish I wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Images, videos that investigators sees include... I'm not saying... I can't.
Yeah. Well, like we said, we'll show you... We'll do as much as we can, and then you can go look it up for yourself. But
yeah.
The next, Army Colonel, 55-year-old Robert Joel Rice, a war game developer at Army War College, was charged with 130 child porn accounts. He had more than 30,000 images/videos of child sex abuse when his wife discovered the files and notified the local police. Good for you. The Army War College had continued to employ Rice and allow him to supervise access to Army computers while on bail, pending trial. Oh, my God.
I mean, and it goes from department to department. We got the U.S. State Department here.
This next one's really good. Because this hits some extra shit.
Oh, yeah. David O'Brien, America's chief scientist responsible for monitoring global nuclear activity at Patrick Air Force Base Technical Applications Center.
Why wasn't there a warning sent out when they decided to launch the EMP? We were looking at some other stuff. They were busy looking at child porn while they weren't watching the nuke monitors.
Arrested for 10 counts of child porn possession and distribution. He had a large collection on both his home and Air Force computers. Sentenced to 5 years in prison in exchange for a guilty plea to 1 child porn count.
He had taken pictures of his granddaughter and placed images of her head over the images of children being sexually...
It just goes on. You got the U.S. State Department here.
Carl Carey, 54-year-old senior project manager in information technology at the U.S. State Department, was arrested on 10 counts of child porn possession in April 2012 by the Fairfax County Police.
Okay, here's a good one. Gons Nachman, a 42-year-old former U.S. diplomat, admitted taping his sexual encounters with teenage girls while stationed in Brazil and the Congo.
Thank God he had diplomatic immunity at the time.
One of his videos was titled Congo 2004 Sexual Adventures.
He got a law degree from the University of Pennsylvania.
I can't. It just goes on and on and on. It doesn't stop. With CIA.
James Cafferty, 45-year-old special agent with the U.S. State Department Bureau of Diplomatic Security, pled guilty on 5 January 2012 to child porn charges, was sentenced in April to 7 years. Federal pen time, federal pound-me-in-the-ass prison. Upon his arrest, he had more than 30,000 images of child sex abuse. He had shipped computer equipment containing many of those images from London to the United States when he returned home from his last official government assignment.
So, just to break this down, this is just a chipping. It's a nudging. We can't go through the whole thing.
No, we're not even a quarter of the way through this list.
No. It goes on and on and on in every facet of the U.S. government, state, local, and federal.
FBI analyst, deputy security secretary, homeland security.
You know, since we are a conspiracy podcast, I'm going to go out on a branch here and say, considering that a huge portion of these individuals also were diplomats and worked with foreign governments, that they were swapping these videos and stuff with their colleagues abroad as well.
Customs and Border Patrol.
This is merely the U.S. rendition of what is going on.
Homeland Security, National Children's Museum.
Yeah, I saw that one. That one fucking blew my mind.
The DEA, police departments, military staff, DEA, Department of Energy, Department of Agriculture, Forest and Park Rangers, Department of Health and Human Services, Air Marshals, TSA, of course TSA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Corrections and Probation Officers. Jeesh.
Just goes on and on. Keeps going.
Doesn't stop.
No. Anybody out there listening, you know, we don't do these kind of subjects as a coincidence.
We don't do them lightly.
No, and I would go on to say that I would believe that if QAnon is getting onto something, it's this.
Yeah, I think this is the next. I put the post I made earlier. I put it on Twitter and put it on Facebook and Instagram. But you guys need to look this up, read it for yourselves. But
definitively,
let's see. With the Catholic Church burning down in front of our eyes, where will the QAnon 8chan leaks lead us next? And then I posted the article from responsiblebusiness.co. That's where we were just reading from. Pedogate, Pedowood. I mean, it's funny because it's like all these fires were started by QAnon, and then some of them just go into full flash explosion. But they're all at risk of running full flash explosion. I think that's what's going on.
So what are they going to do? See, here's the thing. We always think like we know we can at least like try to glean the plan of QAnon and his types. And we were talking to one of our Instagram followers earlier about it. The quote unquote white hats.
Yeah.
In this scenario.
Right.
But you got to think it's not like they have just like all these individuals on the other side of it have just cut and run. They have to have some sort of plan, right? I mean, what did they think really? Like, here's the thing: if you look at, you have to use the mainstream media as a tell, right?
Yeah.
And they just it's a constant stream of nonsense coming out that nobody's buying. So what do they get? They have to have something in mind.
Well, that's the thing too. I read one of the QAnon posts from last week where he was talking about the media and why are they doing this to where they're saying shit that everybody's like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And he said that they were given the choice to either live and destroy the machine, destroy all credibility with the media, or enjoy a weekend of suicide. Because QAnon is powering forward, and he's like, you can either destroy this machine or you could fall with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that kind of works out. One thing that I was talking to Ryan on Instagram earlier, the one we were just talking about, speaking with, and he said something that I didn't think about. He's like, I don't really sense any inconsistency between Q. We were talking about how him and Mark Passio are on like the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And he was asking me like if the QAnon leaks had to do with a similar awakening in the public to the Passio information, because they're definitely related.
Yeah.
And it's almost like people are waking up to the occult at the same time they're waking up to the corruption.
Yeah.
And
making a correlation between the two.
I think that it actually is an awakening, and it goes back to my previous belief that I've spouted a number of times, but really the only way they could try to stop this is massive, like a nuclear attack, a war, collapse the economy. I mean, they're going to pull some hat tricks out. I'm sure they're not going to go into the dark quietly.
I mean, let me put on my esoteric occultist hat for a minute here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice hat.
So, the awakening, right? The awakening of the understanding that there is a law. There is the law.
Natural.
The natural law.
Yeah.
Right. And people are waking up to that as this is going on as well. And like you said, you think there's no such thing as coincidence.
No, just law and observed.
Exactly. So do you think, and this is just me going on a limb here, do you think this is possibly the repercussions for all the nasty shit that they've been doing?
I think so.
That it's just about to fucking break loose, and there's nothing they could do about it, because once the public consciousness comes into the realm that, see, like they went years and years and years doing this simply because they were offsetting their fucking bad juju onto us.
Yeah.
Right? But the more and more people wake up and realize all these different things at the same time concerning natural law, the spell isn't working anymore.
No, the more people, and it doesn't even have to be a majority.
So they're having to absorb more of that bad juju that they had offset for so long.
Because everybody's learning the magic power of the most powerful word in the universe.
No.
No. No. No.
No. No, no.
In order to say no, you must first KNOW, no.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is a perfect time to plug Mark Passio.
Yeah.
Check out some of his longer talks on natural law or the occult in general.
He's beastly.
He was a satanic priest.
Yeah.
And he said, fuck the dark occult. I'm going to put out all their information because I'm all about that humanity and that alignment. Come on.
Speaking of dark occult, and this isn't even, I don't even consider it occult, this is silly.
Yeah.
Did you see the other day when this Satanist group put up a statue of Baphomet?
Yeah, it's funny that on one hand you have, like we were talking about in the Factory of Sadness the other day, you have like the free speech rallies, going on across the country, and then you have people counter-protesting against free speech, but then over here you have them like arguing for free speech, like we got to put up Baphomet because it's First Amendment.
And there's right next to it's a fucking statue of the Ten Commandments, like and the organization that donated that statue of the stone tablets or whatever, they donated that to us. The state didn't pay for it,
right?
This church paid for it or whatever. Well, the Church of Satan fucking paid for a giant statue of Baphomet.
Go ahead, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
No,
I know what it really means.
Yeah.
You ain't tricking me.
Passio has one of the best breakdowns of the Church of Satan that I've ever heard. It's basically a collection. It's like a pool that they pull from in their dark occult organizations. And it's like, if you're willing to go that far to join that church, they'll test you and see what level of psychopath you are in order to see how far up you go in the ranks. But he's talking about, and I wish he would dox the names, but he's talking about like people you see on TV, household names that have been at these events that he's been at, when he was awarded the level of priest by Anton LaVey himself. And he's like, I don't know why he won't dox them, but I just have to imagine it's every person that's on the television.
If you believe in magic, there could be a spell involved with that shit, Aaron Stearns.
Ah, yes. We were talking to Aaron Stearns in the Factory of Sadness about an older news story where all these witches got together at some rally in D.C. shortly after Trump was elected, and they were casting a binding spell to make sure he couldn't get anything accomplished. And he was like, he's a practicer of the arts, the old ways.
Yeah.
And he was like, you realize how stupid it is that you're casting a spell in a place that has so many, like, protective spells around it?
Yeah.
And it just tied into, like, some memories I had of being interested in the architecture and all that. Like, it's clearly, there's something going on with this magic stuff. But,
you got motherfucking hypercubes and all sorts of crazy shit all over that town.
Right. Man, I need to go back.
You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit with that.
No.
But yeah.
It's like, I don't know. But I hope that this is the awakening. I remember Passio broke down the Masonic emblem on the back of the dollar bill, and he's like, basically, there's light Masons and dark Masons. Not even necessarily, kind of talking about the Freemasons, but also talking about just the light magicians and the dark magicians, and how there's a duality in the symbol of the pyramid with the all-seeing eye. He's like, you can have either the people that are working towards darkness, that want to have a fully completed stone pyramid, which is a prison.
Yeah.
And there's no enlightenment and everyone's a slave. Or you have the all-seeing eye, the light, and you have the light workers, and they're the ones that are trying to bring about this age of enlightenment where there's no prison, no slaves, all freedom.
Yeah.
And it looks like, they could judo it at any moment with infinite distraction, war, like we talked about, anything. But they're losing right now.
Yeah.
Which is a dangerous time.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
Be wary of a cornered animal. Right. I'll say that about that.
I'd much rather die on my feet than die on my knees.
Yeah. But this dark animal needs to be wary. You don't know what they're going to do when they get cornered.
And even to take it down a level or 5 to these people that traffic children, a lot of these QAnon posts will tell you what you can confirm in your local areas and in your newspapers and in your counties and stuff, but they're shutting down all the global children, the child sex slave trade lines, and that's caused a massive increase in local abductions. Watch your babies.
Yeah.
Protect your babies.
We care about you and them.
Absolutely.
But
it's nothing better than care of children because they are the future.
Yeah. Was there anything else we want to talk about?
They just had another one of those forest fires catch up to these pedophiles in Michigan. We posted on Instagram earlier about multiple child porn rings involving kids as young as 3 months old shut down by Michigan police. So that's going on right now. That just happened yesterday. So, if you are a listener to the Bones and Tubs podcast and you happen to be a child molester, you should be shitting your pants right now. Really, the best thing you could do for yourself is to hang yourself.
Yeah.
From a tree.
Kill yourself.
Because children swing on swings.
Yeah.
Chomos dangle.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like that.
Bringing it out.
Yeah.
It's one of the new shirt designs we were talking about with our fellow over at Infidel Custom.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open on that. Speaking of t-shirts, if for some reason you didn't hear us earlier in the episode, we're doing a t-shirt giveaway.
There you go.
Go to iTunes, look up Bones and Tubs Podcast, give us a 5-star review, screenshot it, send it to bonesandtubs@gmail.com, and you'll be entered to win a free t-shirt, Bones and Tubs t-shirt.
Ooh.
It's so soft.
Hey, yeah. if you're feeling froggy, you go over to our Instagram. You follow us.
Yeah.
Bones and Tubs.
YouTube.com also /Bones and Tubs Show.
Yeah. You can send us messages. We're pretty good about keeping up on our messages.
We're pretty good about it.
Yeah.
We're also getting a record number of downloads, which is exciting.
Yes.
And I would like to say this. If you don't want to help us with your monies, over at patreon.com /Bones and Tubs with a donation. If you want to, go ahead and do that, because we've got several reward tiers, you know.
Yeah.
You could do that. Or the most important thing you can do is tell your friends about us.
Yeah.
Shout us out on your socials. Give us a fucking share.
Yeah.
Because
get the word out.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Care is a generative principle.
We're
all trying to shine a light on these demons.
There you go.
Get these demons out of us.
Demons.
Be gone, devil.
Yeah.
You know?
But, so yeah, I think that about wraps it up, doesn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
All the shout outs.
Yeah.
All the fucking child rapist talk I can handle for another 7 days.
Yeah, I'm about to break my chair.
We'll be back next week.
And we'd like to thank y'all for listening. Go check us out on them things. Go check out that Patreon. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Ryan Simpson for letting us use his music on the show.
About to get his new album.
Ooh, juicy.
Hopefully we still have use of his music. Otherwise, he'll see us in court.
Yeah. But we'd like to thank y'all for listening. We hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
We love you.
We really do.
I'm content to die for my beliefs. So cut off my head and make me a martyr. The people will always remember it. No, they will forget.
A man who walks with God can walk anywhere. Hence, I fear nothing. The point of guerrilla war is not to succeed. It's always been just to make the enemy bleed, depriving the soldiers of the peace of mind that they need. Bullets are hard to telegraph when they bob and they weave. The only way a guerrilla war can never be over is when the occupation can't afford more soldiers until they have to draft the last of you into the service, and you refuse cause you don't see the purpose. The only way to counter the insurgents that are well equipped is to paint the people fighting for freedom as terrorists. Then find a faction looking for foreign investment, install them in power and murder any objections. You can't stop a revolution from breathing, so to beat them they offer people the illusion of freedom. But when you're done dreaming and wake up tortured for treason, then you can see them hiding behind the God they believe in. Deep in the trenches in the heart of a war, that's the place the martyr is born. Motherfucker, it's on during the night before the start of the dawn. That's the place the martyr is born. Motherfucker, it's on. Gunshots are raining in the heart of a storm. That's the place the martyr is born. Motherfucker, it's on. Guerrilla war when the army is gone. That's the place the martyr is born. Motherfucker, it's on. The purpose of life is a life with a purpose, so I'd rather die for a cause than live a life that is worthless. I don't need the circus or the day of national observance. I need you to think for you and stop being a servant. Pawns only move a square in the game that they're used in, and realize it too late, like the shooting of Huey Newton or Patrice Lumumba and Salvador Allende, slaughtered by the power-hungry branches of their own gente. Gandhi wasn't killed by Pakistani nationals, he was assassinated by a Hindu radical. And Che Guevara, rebel to a US continent, was sold to the CIA by Bolivian communists. Wasn't Yitzhak Rabin murdered by a Zionist, and Anwar Sadat a victim of the same violence? Malcolm X was seen as a threat to the FBI, but to blast them they used Muslims from the NOI. Even the 35th president of the republic was murdered by factions of his own government. So now that it's proven that a soldier of revolution or head of an empire disguised in a constitution cannot escape the retribution or manipulation of the self-appointed rulers of the planet's corporations, so I'ma need every generation to put your hands up, cause you can only get them off your back when you stand up. Deep in the trenches in the heart of a war, that's the place the martyr is born. Motherfucker, it's on during the night before the start of the dawn. That's the place the martyr is born. Motherfucker, it's on. Gunshots are raining in the heart of a storm. That's the place the martyr is born. Motherfucker, it's on. Guerrilla war when the army is gone. That's the place the martyr is born. Motherfucker, it's on. some of the worst circumstances. I had many things. A beautiful woman I loved, a home, money, and I gave it all up to bleed and to die free. Sometimes I look back on that life and I wonder what it would have been like. And in moments of weakness I think about trading it, but then I snap the fuck out of it and I get back to my reality. And I realize that I'm in the heart of a war, and that's the place a martyr is born.